Hello, my name is Pastor Jefferson Lawrence. Had the opportunity back in February of this year to go to Monrovia, Liberia, in Africa to preach their 46th annual General Conference. And I must say it was a powerful trip and life-changing at the same time. I had the privilege to go with Bishop Albert Stewart, who was missionary there for the last 32 years. We went while we were there, dedicated a church that we built as well. But there were things that I saw that was troubling to me, and not only troubling, but it was an opportunity for us back in the States to be able to do something positive for the country, because they are very resilient people. Bishop Stewart has done a tremendous job after being there. We saw some needs. He took us up to the clinic to see some of the things that was happening there at the clinic. And when we took our tour, it was like nothing you could imagine for people to have been serviced there. When you look at the OB ward and then moving into the ladies wards, you'll see the beds that are there. These beds had been donated by one of the hospitals in the state, and this stuff was shipped to Liberia. But the problem was, after the war, they lost their infrastructure, and so there's no power there. They run everything by generators. So they have really nice beds, but they have no power to run these beds. And so as you can see in the slide, they're down in that lowest position, and they can't raise them up. So the ladies ward, the men's ward, the examination room, which is not, by our standards, it's a very minimal room. But the thing is that this area treats so many people, because there is no welfare system. There's no social programs in this country. These people, if they can't pay for the service that they get, then they don't get a chance to have service at all. And so, as you see, the examination room is a very simple room. They treated people during the war that lasted for 14 years, and then shortly after that, Ebola hit. And so they treated people in this clinic with Ebola, and they lost about 4 of their staff through Ebola. And so this place needs some renovating. I'm a contractor by trade, and as I walked through the facilities looking at it, my heart was really broken, because I know that we can do something to help them. And so as we looked at the rest of the different rooms, the OB room where they deliver the babies, there has been an opportunity.
And Brother Fox, the gentleman you see in the picture, has an organization called Reclaim Kids, and his organization sends supplies and equipment to Monrovia almost yearly.
And this year, they've already sent a unit full of different types of supplies, and it also contained 2 sonogram machines that they're excited to have. But the problem is they have no power. And so they have volunteers. As you can see in the picture, these people work there every day, and they treat quite a few people that come through, all the ladies that have babies. This clinic delivers the babies for them, and it's very inexpensive, because this facility was put together by Bishop Stewart and the church to give their people an avenue to medical attention. So we went to this particular place to look at generators, to get something that was big enough to run the clinic and some other things that I'll show you shortly. This particular generator here, this 50-amp generator, was more than enough to run everything in the clinic and have 20 or 30 amps left over. In that country, you can literally sell power by the amp to the people that lives in the villages. So I said to Bishop, if we can simply buy a generator big enough to run the clinic, then we can turn around and sell the excess amperage to the people in the village to generate some income for supplies and materials, and then even to keep the upkeep on the generator itself. And so we looked at one that was 30 amp as well. So the 30 amp generator, as I said, started out right at about $11,000, and the 50 amp was right at $16,000. And so we're looking at raising the monies to do that, because they have needs not just at the clinic, but also we visited a library that was at one of the villages that we went to, and this library, by our standards, was very menial. But as you can see, the people that work there in the library, you see the books on the shelf, they literally collect encyclopedias in any books that people can give them, because they love to read. They take much pride in their educational system that they do have. And so I told Bishop, if we could simply get a smaller generator to run the library, then they could get internet service. Once they got internet service, then they could charge a fee for people to come and use the internet service to do that. So that was another thing. So that was another project.
The gentleman you see in this picture, name is Joshua Blahi. He was one of the generals that fought in the 14-year war. His name was called General Butt Naked, and you can literally go on Amazon and find his book called The Redemption of an African Warlord.
And I met this gentleman, Bishop Stewart, had won this guy to God, and the Lord saved him. And now he's doing a tremendous work there in Monrovia, working with the youth and the young men that once fought in the war with him. And while we talked to him, he was telling us that he was building houses and had some of the young men working on farms, and they was growing palm trees and different things that was giving them a new lease on life and giving them something to do constructive for the community. So he began to tell us about these bricks that he had found, a brick machine that he had found down in South Africa, and he had bought a couple of those machines and started building houses there in Monrovia. And so when we got to seeing how he was doing this, another wheel began to spin in my mind, and began to tell Bishop that we could literally get these brick machines, train the guys how to use them, and could literally build churches and houses. He can build a 3-bedroom house for a little bit over 800 American dollars, because the brick is made from the dirt that grows, that's plentiful right there in Africa. And so that's another reason that we're trying to raise some monies, that we can get these machines. I'm contracted by trade. They do everything manually. So I would be looking forward to going back over there. And they asked me to come back to teach them how to use power tools and all of those things. So that's another reason that we're looking. This is what the house looks like with the bricks that they build. It's an interlocking brick, sort of like what we use in landscape bricking. These brick interlock, and all you have to do is put the slime on the outside, and when that stuff sets up, it's just like concrete. So that's just another project. And then the last place that we visited was the orphanage that Brother Kamari and his wife actually runs. This is a school that his wife literally tries to educate these children, and you can see the number of them. And it really broke my heart when I saw how these young people, they sung to us, they conducted a service, and their prayer was so powerful. You're talking 3 to 4, 5-year-old children that pray like adults pray, because their needs are real. And they come to school, they don't come to play, they come to get an education. And it was just heartbreaking, but it was powerful at the same time. And so when you look at the number of them, you can see me standing on the back wall, and they were so excited. This is the little school that they have. You can see it from the outside. One of the churches built this school for them, and on the inside of it, you can see what they have in the classroom. It's very menial. So to be able to raise some funds just to help them to maybe come up with some more supplies would just be an awesome blessing for them. And as I've said, our children are used to having 2 or 3 meals a day when they go to school. These children may come to school and walk for miles to get there and never get a meal that day because there's nothing for them to eat. And I just feel like that we can do better than that, and I want to be a part of something that will make a difference. Brother Fox, who was with us, brought them some toothbrushes from the States, and you would have thought it was Christmas Day for those kids in the way they responded to those toothbrushes. And so this is Brother Kamari and his wife, and on this particular day, as you can see the pans on the table, she was going to prepare a meal for them today, and that meal simply consists of a bowl of rice. They eat rice 365 days out of the year, and I'm absolutely delighted to get it. So we have set up a GoFund account for these projects, and it's my desire and my intent. I'm planning to go back this February 2017 to look at some of these projects a little bit more in detail, and we're hoping to take some funds back to literally be able to get a generator or so we can get some of these things moving. And so this fund will be set up with all the information that you'll need to contribute, and you will definitely be able to get your receipts and so forth, and the money, you'll be able to see the projects as they progress. I'm certain that there's a newsletter that if you're interested in will also be provided to you once you become a contributor. And we appreciate your time, and we're praying that God will touch your heart and that you'll be willing to help us in this endeavor. God bless you. Thank you.